Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Naturally Paige for another Wifey Wednesdays. Yo, I am legit so tired while I am filming this video, but it has been a minute since I have been on, and I'm just like, pull yourself together, Paige. In today's video, I am going to be sharing on a topic that is really based on, well, most of the topics are based on my personal experience. But yeah, this one is actually pretty dear to my heart just because I think that it is just not discussed at all, especially in the church. And I think that persons are just kind of going in blind. So today I'm going to be talking about what do you do if you're not a virgin but you've been celibate and it's now time for your wedding night. But before I jump into the juicy details and giving all of my advice, I'm gonna ask that if you are new here, let me know, leave me a comment. But first off, I really want you to subscribe to my channel, turn on your notifications so that way you'll know every single time that I post. So if you follow me on Instagram, if you don't, I don't understand why, and so you just need to go ahead and click the link in my bio and follow. You would know that I was not a virgin when I got married. However, I had been celibate for about 2 years, and so really and truly it was interesting navigating that entire night. As a Christian, you are taught in the church that, you know what, you're supposed to save yourself for marriage. You're not supposed to have sex until your wedding night. And it's kind of just like, okay, so you know, you're supposed to go from totally chaste, doing nothing, pure, everything, right, to freak in the bed, or husband's sexual fantasy and dream come to life in one night. And this is particularly true for women. And it's kind of unfair, you know, like how do you go from being totally like uninterested in sex or like having boundaries in place to all of a sudden just be like Lego? It's hard, you know, it's not an easy adjustment. So it's already hard enough for a Christian who is a virgin and then is now going to transition. I would give advice on that in terms of being a virgin and going into your wedding night, but the truth is that that wasn't my case, you know, and I don't want to like just put forward ideas. So there I am. I am not a virgin, so I know about sex. I have had sex before. I have experienced that painful first time. I'm kind of just like, okay, well, let's go. In my head, I think I assumed that because I had had sex before, it would make my wedding night easy. So I didn't really factor in the whole celebrate for 2 years thing. And honestly, it was not easy, you know. So I think one, my expectation was I would have no pain. I mean, maybe a little discomfort, you know, because hey, the female organs just went and they just retightened as they're supposed to do. But I didn't expect any pain. I expected to be confident. I expected to just kind of fall back into the groove of it, and that did not happen. So my thing is kind of just like, I would say first off is to set your expectations really low and don't put any pressure on it. Like if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. You guys can take a shower together, you guys can chill out, you guys can explore. There's so many different things that you can do on your wedding night. If you set your expectations low, what it means is basically that even if you go past them, it's like it's bonus, you know, but you don't have this high bar set of like jumping right back into sex, and then it doesn't quite go that way. Set your expectations low so that you can give each other a chance to be comfortable. High expectations are going to put a lot of pressure, which is just not going to help the situation. The next thing that I want to say is you guys need to have a discussion about it. Now, the timing of this discussion is very crucial. Nobody gonna take up yourself and start have discussion about on a sex life and on a wedding night 2, 3, 4 months before the marriage. It don't make no sense. You want to know why? All you're gonna be doing is awakening a fire and a lust, and you don't need that in those final 3 months. You see, when you have the ring on your finger, Jesus, start burn. Because oh my gosh, I'm almost his. I almost am married. It's so easy to fall into the trap of giving up your celibacy in those last few months. You have this discussion probably a week, max 2 weeks before your wedding day. And what this discussion is basically doing is kind of setting some parameters. You guys are being open and you approach it with saying, you know what, this is going to be an open, honest conversation. Please don't hold back, because if any party holds back, it's going to defeat the purpose of the entire conversation. But have the discussion. What do you expect out of our wedding night? Or what do you hope for our wedding night? Most times you're going to find that the guy is going to want to, and that's understandable. Dude been holding out for however long, he ready, no problem. And most times you're gonna find that the girl is gonna be more like, I'm okay with just like kissing and exploring, and yeah, and it's just kind of like, whoo. So automatically you're gonna see that there may be a disparity. You want to be able to clear that up ahead of time so that you guys are on the same page. Right? It's so important to be on the same page, because your sex life is both of you together. And when it comes down to having this discussion, I really think it's important that you remember you have your entire life to figure out sex. Your entire life. You do not need to be the best at it on the first night. So don't put any pressure on each other to like have this amazing sex capade and yo, Bill, just easy back. But have the discussion, and also in that discussion state your fears, especially as a woman who is going back into having sex after being celibate. It's nerve-wracking because you're kind of just like, am I going to remember what I used to be good at? Am I going to remember how to even do this? Am I going to want to do this now? Have the discussion and be open and share how you're feeling about it. So if you're nervous, say you're nervous. If you're excited, say you're excited. But make sure that there's a clear line of communication. And the reason why this is so important is because you're going to need this for your entire marriage. You're going to have to be okay discussing your sex life with your partner. Don't sit there and just kind of fumbling about and everybody pretend like them happy. No. God created sex, and he created it to be wonderful and beautiful and to feel good, right? He created it to make sure that your husband and wife gonna have fun and they're gonna start praise and jump up in the bed for say, yes, thank you God for my wife, yes, thank you God for my husband, bless God, yes. That's what he wants. Now, the timing of this conversation is very important. This is not a conversation to be had on the phone in the wee hours of the night, lying in your bed, talking in soft hushed tones like, baby, you know I want you. No. No bother with it. That is a discussion that you have daytime. During on a Saturday afternoon, morning, you go to one public place with enough people about, have the discussion, but that is not something that you have in like your bed lying down. No man, you're gonna be tempting yourself. Trust me when I say make sure that the environment is very neutral to be able to have it. If you want to have it where it's like a chaperone discussion, not mean that the persons are actually listening to you, but even if you have it where a couple that you know probably sitting a little ways off, but it's chaperone, and when the conversation done, pick up on yourself, go to a separate yard. So important to set the right environment for that open and flowing discussion. My third piece of advice: start your wedding night with a shower. Why do I say this? There is something about showering with your husband. What showering allows for you is like it's easing you into. Reason being is that you're already used to being naked in the shower. You're used to it. You're used to taking off your clothes and whatever. The water, the steam, if you get some candles, get some bath, like just some stuff in there to make the place smell nice, that's gonna help you to relax, especially for the women. It gives you a sense of intimacy, but you want to be able to kind of ease your way back into being comfortable, being naked. You want to ease yourself back into being comfortable around your spouse. That is what a shower can do. I highly recommend taking a hot shower. And also, if you are a virgin on your wedding night, this is a great tip as well. Now, the next piece of advice is for the ladies. Come prepared. Make sure that you are walking with all you need to aid your body into easing back into having sex. So you're gonna walk with your lube. Please do not forget your lubricant. Like, your honeymoon, all I'm not gonna do basically is eat, sleep, maybe do like activities and have sex. You don't want the parts getting all sore, right? So please to make sure that you walk with some lubricant. The next thing that I want you to make sure that you carry with you is your feminine wash. Ladies, please do not leave it. I'm not talking about a douche. I'm talking about a very gentle feminine wash. Reason being is that especially if you're staying in a hotel or a guest house, you're going to find that the soaps are going to be very generic and probably a little too harsh for the intimate area. Make sure that you walk with your sensitive soap so you can keep down there fresh, free of any germs. And if you really and truly aren't into the soaps, get some regular salt and walk with a little container. Put in a little salt, some warm water, does wonders. If you can even walk with like some of the sits, that soak it. Just soak. Girl, soak. Because the thing is, right, our intimate area is so sensitive that really you don't want anything to kind of throw it off, and then that kind of messes with the whole vibe of the honeymoon. Come on, come in prepared with what you're gonna need to keep yourself okay. I'm also gonna offer the advice that you set realistic expectations for the night. And I'm not talking in terms of how far you want to go, I'm talking in regards to what to expect of your body. The truth is that our bodies are made to the muscles are made to kind of retighten. And so you don't want to go in assuming that because you've already had sex, it's going to be pain-free. Can it be pain-free? Of course it can. But for some persons, it really and truly still has that little bit of discomfort. And it's so important to kind of prep your brain for it to realize that, you know what, I can't just jump back in. You have to ease in, you have to take your time. And that's why I say having that discussion is so important, because a lot of guys don't know that. They just don't know. And so if we don't kind of instruct them to say, you know what, I really and truly just want to take some time and no pressure. And it's also important that, if you need to take a break, take a break. Like say, babe, can we pause for a little bit? Comfort is what you are aiming for. Comfort in how you're feeling emotionally and comfort in how you're feeling physically. I'm telling you, like, it's so important that from that very first night you set the precedence of communicating. And my very last piece of advice is to seek the Lord on the matter. I know it's very easy for us to kind of segment God and sex, but the fact is that sex was created by God to be enjoyed in marriage between a man and a woman. That is how he intended it. And the fact that he created it and all that he created is good, it means that it is good. So it's so important that you really and truly seek God about it. And I recommend that you do that together. I had one of my IG followers tell me an amazing testimony, and it's like bringing tears to my eyes just thinking about it, about she and her husband, and how neither of them were virgins when they got married, but they had recommitted to celibacy before their marriage. And she told me how her husband anointed their bodies with oil, and I was just like, what? Like that's a whole other level. But she said that he took the time to pray over each and every part of their body and anoint their sex life and come dedicate it to God. No, for me, when I heard it, I was just like, I got goosebumps. I was just like, I didn't even think of that. And don't get me wrong, this is not pressuring you to say, go and do this. But that was their way of really and truly dedicating themselves anew to God and dedicating their sex life together to God. And I thought it was so beautiful how they chose to incorporate God into that time, into that renewal, into that bonding. It's so important that you allow God to be a part of your sex life, that you're comfortable praying to him about it. Seek the Spirit. Say, you know what, God, we really and truly want this to be a beautiful time where the two become one. We want to anoint ourselves unto you, even if you don't do the actual anointing, but really and truly to dedicate yourself ceremoniously to say, you know what, God, we are yours. And also to have that time of just touching each other in a reverent, almost like this special way. I think it's so awesome. So that doesn't have to be the way you do it, right? But take the time to spend with God and really truly pray over your sex life. Pray and ask God for a good sex life. Like, pray and ask for, God, I want the sex to turn up. Like, I want it to be good. There's nothing wrong with that. Allow God to be a part of that intimate time. Sex in the context of marriage is worship. And if we have that mindset. You know, it's what's most needed, I would say. In the church, for so many years, you are taught that sex is wrong, that it's sin, and it's dirty, and it's unclean. And so then when we get to our wedding, and it's like we're supposed to all of a sudden not see it as sin. We're decades of being told this, and we're suddenly supposed to see it as something good. We're suddenly supposed to see it as something that's allowed. And even though we want to think that that's an easy transition, it's really not. Recognizing that sex comes from God and seeing it as holy in the context of marriage, it's a game changer, you know? I know how hard it is to transition from having sex to stop having sex to not having sex again. It's like your brain is just like, like you don't even know what to do. But you can do it. And the truth is that the fact that you guys love each other and have chosen this step, you guys can figure it out. Like, give yourself time to figure it out. You have your entire life to love your sex life. You have your entire life to teach and to learn about yourself and what you like and what you want to be done and what you like to do. You don't have to get it all together on that first night. Don't put any pressure on yourself. I mean, set realistic expectations and know that there's a possibility that it might hurt a little bit, it might be uncomfortable a little bit, just because you haven't been doing it for a while. Your body reverted to its original state. If you really and truly want to be able to talk some things out, instead of talking to your partner first, I would say you can also talk to a close friend or someone that you're comfortable speaking with who can talk with you about sex. Now, personally, I would not recommend that you talk with somebody who has been married for a long time. This reason being is that things change. Your sex life has various seasons over time, but more so to seek someone who has been married probably 5 years or less. They're able to kind of give you some fresh insight, but also they're more likely to give you details of what you can do. And when I say details, I mean giving you ideas like, all right, so you're going to try this and you're going to try that. So it's kind of breaking it down for you, and that kind of makes you feel confident, because who doesn't like to have like ideas going in? Who doesn't like to have a game plan? And that's okay. Talk to somebody who you know and trust, preferably somebody who has been married less than 5 years. I just want to encourage you that if you are in this situation, if you are on the road to getting married, you have had sex before, but you're now celibate and you're feeling just a bit nervous about that wedding night, commit it to God. Trust Him with it. And I pray and hope that the Lord will bless your marriage with an amazing sex life. I pray that you both will be understanding and considerate of each other in the bedroom. I pray that you will want to give of yourself in the bedroom. And most of all, I pray that you enjoy it. Like, enjoy sex with your hubby. Yes, enjoy it. That's what it is for. It's not just to have kids. It's not just to make sure I'm satisfied. No, enjoy it. Take the time and trust that God has a plan to unite you guys in such a beautiful, beautiful way. I know this topic is just like, what? But I really and truly thought it was so important to share, because I've had so many young women reach out to me for advice on it. And I think we're not doing enough talking about this and preparing people for marriage, because I really and truly want this to be a video that helps someone on their journey as a wife. Thanks so much for making it Naturally Paige, guys. If you haven't already done so, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel, turn on your notifications, and that way you will know every single time that I post. It was another Wifey Wednesdays. I hope that it will help somebody on their journey, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next time.